Welcome to part two. We'll just wait for Kent to be admitted. There you go. Here is Kent. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Kent. Women love him. Men want to be him. How you doing, Kent? What do you think's at big?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
All right, Russell. All right.
I've just sat here with my sunglasses on and my chain.
Basking in the Sunday that you've had.
What a time to be alive.
Have you ever had a better Sunday?
No, to be honest. No.
Probably yes, but in a metaphorical sense, probably no. As a Liverpool fan,
Here's somebody quoted me 300 quid for a battery for my car. I got one of them today as well, 120 quid brand new. So, yeah, I've had a good day today, Ken. I've had a good day. And, you know, my team won and we are back where we belong amongst it. Do you know what I mean? 7-0.
well,
Get up there, you. Get up there. Oh, God.
well, as long as it makes you happy, Russell.
Gary will be in bits. Gary from Welcome Estates will be in bits. He'll be sat there now looking at that pan of veg thinking, God, I need something a bit more than that to get me through tonight after that 7-0 drubbing. And Johnny and Jono comes on as well. He's a red as well.
Brutal.
7, mate. Jesus, eh?
7 Up, eh? I'm surprised you aren't doing me a 10 of 7 Up.
7 Up, who's world, right?
I'm surprised you aren't sitting there with a 10 of 7 Up.
I'm not sat here with a tin of 7 Up. I'm sat here actually with a pink gin with ice.
It's very metropolitan of you, Russell.
Hey?
It's very metropolitan.
I'll tell you what, mate. I've had a tough week. Cars and dogs and Porky's Corner and a few other bits and a few other obstacles. And I'm just sitting back here and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch the match. I watched the match, laid on my big daft bed, me and my dogs. And we've done them 7-0. And I'll tell you what, hairs on my arms. That stood up since Froch came out for booty. That's last time hairs stood up on my arms. I'm telling you, mate.
I'm just doing a tumbleweed moment here, Russell.
I'm just puffing coolly on a large Cuban.
Did Richard give you that?
No, it was Frank Cook. No, it's a joke. It's an inside joke. No, I've just rolled it myself, mate. I'm just sat here, mate. Listen, mate, I am buzzing my tits off with that 7-0 win. Get up there. Yeah, sorry, I forgot you're Man United, Ken. I'm sorry about that. Do you know what United miss? They miss a Brian Robson and Remy Moses in midfield. You know, somebody who's willing to put a challenge in. Somebody who's going to put a shift in for the shirts. That's what
box-to-box midfielder. Box-to-box midfielder.
Sparky Hughes up front, yeah, like a Roy Keane, a box-to-box midfielder. You know, a Scholes who can spray it.
Yeah.
Giggs and Chelskis on wing or Beckham and Giggs, whipping it in. Oh, my God.
Oh, what a team that was.
They've had it that easy. Now that they're not having it that easy, they don't know what to do. They're throwing millions at people. You can't buy success. You need good coaches, don't you? Look at Klopp, how he turned it around now. He's changed his team. It's only took him 4 months, hasn't it?
To be fair, I think Ten Hag's done a great job at United. Well, the time he's been there.
Finished the League Cup, mate. The small fry League Cups. Come on.
It's it's still a trophy. It's still a trophy.
Clean our League Cups, we've got that many.
Oh, you're in form here, boy. You're in form here.
Listen, mate. It's great, isn't it? It'll be great for Liverpool tonight, for City of Liverpool, won't it? It'll be on fire tonight, Liverpool, mate. I'm telling you, mate. Honestly, did you see them fans when leaving stadium? They were like the beat. Oh my God! Oh yeah, get up!
Did you just want me on here to rinse me for the 2 videos that we're doing?
Yeah, sorry, Ken. Right, I wanted to ask you, Paul Smigger Smith Smith, whatever he's calling himself these days, aka Jim Royal. Right? Have you seen the interview he's done sticking it to Joe G? What do you think to that? Is that ungrateful or what?
I don't know what he's talking about. Did Callum Smith not win a British, a European title, a WBC Diamond, a WBA title, and won the Ring magazine, won the tournament, had the biggest payday of his career against Callagher during the pandemic with 80,000 people at it. Was 26 and 0 at the time with like 18 knockouts. What more do you want him to do?
You know what I mean?
What more? What more do you what more can you do for a fighter? Guide a fighter, and you look at the amount of champions that Joe has had from amateur right through to professional ranks. There's nobody in British boxing, probably world boxing, that would have that success. So I don't really know what he's talking about. He just seems miserable all the time. It seems one of them people. It's just constantly miserable. But I just don't think it gives Joe any credit whatsoever. And I'm sure Joe doesn't want any credit. It's not about that, but it's just a bit of respect. Look at the amount of people out of Smith family have won titles being trained under Joe. What does he have to say for that? It doesn't add up. And then you look at Buddy McGirt. Many fighters has Buddy McGirt trained from scratch, Russell, right through the world title.
Johnny Beck, as a fighter from scratch, hasn't he? I mean, he's had Johnny Beck from scratch and Layman Brewster, Nate Campbell, JC Candello, Joel Casimir, Chisora, Chubrika, Conyers, Vernon Forrest, Arturo Gatti, Michael Grant, Troy Arden, Kelsey Jeffries, Joel Julia, Cern Killick, Jevon Krytek, whatever. There's Kovalev, Lang, Limnitz, Lazoo, Macklin, Milanaga, James McGirt, Junior Rahman, Smith, Spadafore, Tarver, Williams, Dillian Whyte. He's one of them, and he's like a cuckoo that nicks eggs, isn't he, from other people's nests, isn't he?
I remember going back, and I remember when Arturo Gatti had that really good win. I come back, good win against Taron Millet. He was just coming up maybe 2 or 3 weights at the time. He had those tough
on his watch, didn't he? McGirt's, didn't
he? He had those tough fights against Ivan Robinson, so it was time to move up. Gatti was a top class amateur. It's not like he just learned to box as a professional. He could box. He was an Olympic level fighter. So, it's not like he just learned how to box under Buddy McGirt. He had those trilogy fights against Mickey Ward. And they took the Mayweather fight. Now, for me, I don't think they should have took that fight. That was before Mayweather was Money Mayweather, the hugely, box office Mayweather at the time, who sold out arenas. I thought maybe at the time a more winnable fight for Gatti, if he would have been managed better, would have been maybe a Ricky Hatton fight. I think that would have been more winnable for him at that time, and he maybe would have had 2 or 3 really good fights after that. With some really good fighters around at that time at those weights. Even Paulie Spadafora. We had that really infamous sparring session with Mayweather. You had Lemon Doran at the time, who had those really good fights. So there was a lot of opportunities out there for at light welterweight and welterweight for Gatti, rather than just the Mayweather fight. And I don't think he was ever the same after it. But Buddy McGirt came out and said, I remember seeing him in an interview a couple of years ago, and it was when Derek Chisora was fighting Alexander Usyk. Now, considering the fact that Usyk is coming up as an Olympic champion, world champion amateur, undisputed cruiserweight champion, stepping up to heavyweight, Derek Chisora gets him in. He turns around and he says, Oh, I've never seen Usyk fight, and I've never actually seen Derek Chisora fight. What doesn't sound too much of a meticulous perfectionist going by that interview, does it?
No, it doesn't. I'm a bit disappointed with Paul Smith, to be honest. It seems like sour grapes, doesn't it, really? But that he dig Joe G out when technically he got beat against Canelo, didn't he? That's his only defeat under Joe G. He lost to Canelo, and it was the modern day great, they say, don't they?
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially winning all those titles. As I say, from British to European, domestically, and that WBC Diamond, WBA title, and the Ring magazine, and millions of pounds in that super tournament, that Super Six,
Yeah.
or whatever it's called. That's his unrivaled success, and from that there to have two fights on undercards from that, he hasn't really done anything for it. Just sitting around waiting for a WBC title shot against Beterbiev. I don't want to see Callum Smith against Beterbiev. I want to see Beterbiev against, Bivol at light heavyweight for undisputed. That's the fight I want to see next. I don't want to see that fight. Who in the right mind would want to see Callum Smith, that's had two fights in the last 2 years, against Beterbiev or Bivol and Beterbiev? You want to see best fighting the best.
He's marked up, isn't he, Callum Smith? Did you see him on that interview? They were marked up, wasn't he?
It's just it's disappointing. Like when you see that, it seemed to be amicable. I haven't heard Joe say anything bad about any of the Smith brothers. Joe actually come on and tipped, uh, you know, tipped Eubank to get beat last week, a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
He wished him all the best before it, and he spoke nothing but good things about his new trainer afterwards, Joe McAnally. So it doesn't seem to be any negativity or sour grapes coming from Joe's end. I suppose he doesn't have time. He's so many fighters in his gym training at the minute who are in title contention or of a title or a domestic title. So I suppose he doesn't really need to waste his time in that there.
Yeah, it's bad when it gets like that. If Buddy McGirt's that good, he had a kid in a 4-rounder, didn't he, on that show overnight, and he got dropped, didn't he?
Oh, he got near put the orbit by a complete novice.
Yeah.
It doesn't. They introduced him as one of the greats, and I think even the commentators picked up on it and says I wouldn't go that far.
Did he win with Chisora and Macklin? What did he win with then? The Buddy McGirt.
Well, Macklin had more trainers in Foot Locker at the time, and went from trainer to trainer.
Go on, Kent. Go on, Kent.
Well, it's true. He went from Billy Graham. At that stage, everybody wanted to.
Macklin was a world-class fighter, though. Macklin won it. Let's have it right. He got robbed for a world title, didn't he? Come on.
He didn't win a world. He didn't win the world title, but did he?
He didn't win one, but he was robbed money in Germany against money. Come on, he won 8-4 in my opinion that night.
Yeah, he did. I thought he was unlucky that, but doesn't say that.
It was doesn't say Bobby Reed, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was terrible. That was probably one of the worst robberies in Germany. That I don't think you can put Macklin and Martin Murray's.
Murray's one in Argentina were bad, wasn't it?
Oh, flip me, against Sergio Martinez. That was awful. And then he had another one as well. He had another one in Germany as well, and that was as bad. Like they were two bad decisions, but you put those three decisions together, the two Martin Murray decisions, and you put them together, it's still nowhere near as bad as Robin Reed's against Sven Otka. It was probably one of the worst I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That was bad. That was bad. the heavyweight scene with Anthony Joshua and this Franklin fight coming up on April Fool's week. So basically, we've got 3 more weeks and it's fight week, in it. By the time this video,
Yeah.
3 weeks till fight week. Fighting that Jermaine Franklin, is that a gimme fight?
Well, Jermaine Franklin, I actually thought beat Dillian Whyte. Now that was Dillian Whyte's first fight with Buddy McGirt.
Yeah.
I thought it was the worst performance I've seen from Dillian Whyte. I don't actually think I've seen his defense look as bad. You know, he's another one who's had more trainers than Foot Locker.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't know what we're going to see from AJ. I don't know what AJ. I don't think AJ knows himself until the night. To be perfectly honest with you, I think you've got the confidence has been absolutely, pulverized this last 18 months. I think the fact that Fury's back as number one in the division, I think he hates that. I don't, coming back and winning the WBC title, I don't think, if you think about it, if you were Anthony Joshua 4 or 5 years ago, you're world champion, you beat Charles Martin for the IBF title, you've had that fight put on your lap, and everything's going your way. You've got Eddie Hearn behind you, you've got the Sky and Matchroom Machine behind you, you've got all these endorsements, everything's going well. You've beat Klitschko at Wembley, in a massive sellout fight. Fury's, retired at the time. He's put on all that weight, and everything's just running for you. Everything's just running sweet for you. Then you have Fury comes back, wins the world title, and you lose your world title to Andy Ruiz. Get absolutely put in the orbit. He fought scared in the rematch. Then he goes and he loses twice to a guy coming up from cruiserweight. Where would your mindset be there? You could be the most confident person in the world, and that still would really affect you. There's no two ways about it. I don't think he's been the same fighter from even not just the knockout loss to Andy Ruiz. I think Fury coming back and reclaiming the world title, I think that psychologically hurt him. And I think those 2 defeats and the knockout, I don't think he knows himself.
Do you think he looks at Fury now and thinks Fury's added to his game and that Joshua does? But what Fury's added is just going for punching power. But really, apart from Wilder, we don't really know if he can knock others out, because you can't count Whyte and Chisora, can you, as credible opponents, can you, for Fury?
Definitely not. Not at world level. Definitely not. We look at what Alexander Povetkin did to Dillian Whyte. I put him in the absolute orbit.
And Whyte for life and death, weren't they, the Wilder ones?
Well, the first one was kind of he kind of used his skills. He used that herky-jerky, style, really defensive. He just...
Yeah, see, that's what Joshua thought at Fury had. He thought he only had that in his locker.
Yeah.
Fury's added the other stuff to his locker. Joshua's thought, well, I've already got that other stuff, but I've not got the Fury skill set, has he? And I think he feels inferior. He could be right there. He could have mental issues over how Fury's become so dominant, but who's he become dominant over? Wilder. Were he that dominant over Wilder? They knocked him out twice. Yeah, he was dropped in it. So they were good fights, weren't they? But they weren't, they weren't fights where there were no blemish, were they? He got hit, didn't he, in them, didn't
he? Yeah, and it's not just as a fighter. It's his business as a business. He's become the nation's favorite.
Yeah.
He's had books out, he's had documentaries, he's on everywhere, he's selling out Wembley, and that has to affect you. You look now that when AJ was on that hype train and everybody was posting, yeah, I'm going to the AJ fight or watching the AJ fight. AJ was that person. now that Fury's come back and he's lost 3 times, he's not that person anymore. Even endorsement wise, he's not, even the business person, the celebrity aspect of it, he's crossed over better than AJ does, and I think all that's affected him, all that there, and I don't think he's the same fighter. I don't think he can go and change trainers so many times and try different things and constantly searching for something. Is he searching for something that's not there? Is it a physical thing? Is it a mental thing? I think we'll know. I don't even think we'll know against Franklin, because Franklin's not a world level fighter. Alexander Usyk's a world level fighter. Tyson Fury's a world level fighter. Deontay Wilder's a world level fighter and puncher. So we're not going to ever, AJ could go on a 10-fight winning streak and retire and fight the likes of Zhang Giles and of this world and do the world tour that they muted and they talked about. And we'll still not know if he's a better fighter. The only way we'll know is if he's improved and he's a better fighter, is if he fights Fury and fights Wilder. I can't see that happening.
Can't you?
No, no way.
Do you think Joshua will ever be the same fighter again?
He's never been the same fighter. No. What's going to change? I think what's changed is that Fury's back in top. He's the number one division. He's had those fights against Wilder. He's crossed over really well. And, he got knocked out by Andy Ruiz, fought scared in a rematch, and got beat twice by a guy coming up from cruiserweight. What does that tell you? That has to affect you in some way. Has to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you think if Joshua fought Usyk again, Ken, he'd do better?
No, I thought, to be honest with you, Russell, I know people said they've seen improvements in AJ the second time. I didn't see any improvements. I didn't see none. He done something good the first round, which he actually moved his torso and his head side to side and landed body shots and didn't do it again. Why did he not do it again? What did he get? What was the plan there? What was so good about that second fight that made him look so good? Where was the improvements? He lost.
Yeah.
He lost convincingly. How can you say you've improved in a fight you've lost convincingly?
Do you think there were too many people in his hero link camp and that?
Way too many. Way too many.
Yeah.
Not boxing people. We get rid of all the boxing people. There's too many hangers on. There's too many methods. There's too many different clashes of styles. Just none of it made sense. None of it. And I think it's too late.
Do you think he should go back to McCracken?
I think it's one of them things that relationship's damaged now. I don't think there's any way back. I think once you leave someone the first time, coming back, it's always going to be different. Like it's always going to be some form of resentment there between either party.
Yeah. Where do you see Dillian Whyte's role in all this now with DAZN and that? Because he looks like he's on outside looking in, doesn't he?
Listen, Eddie's not stupid. Eddie watched that last fight, the performance against Franklin, and how could Eddie sell Dillian Whyte in a pay-per-view after that? How could you put? He was knocked out by Povetkin, knocked out by AJ, brutally knocked out by AJ, brutally knocked out by Povetkin, brutally knocked out by Tyson Fury. And that Tyson Fury fight, he could have really did his profile. He could have done his profile so much better. If he actually would have, contributed to the build-up. He didn't do himself any favors. 80,000 fans. It was a kind of a fight that got a lot of media, got a lot of, terrestrial TV were talking about it. all the YouTube channels were talking about. That was a chance for Dillian Whyte to go out and really sell himself as a personality other than a boxer, and he didn't. And thus far, that makes him harder to market his next fight. And that performance against Franklin was really bad. I thought it was the worst performance of his career. I thought it was even worse than the performance he had against Marius Vac when he came back. I know he did get a bad injury in that fight. I think he tore his quad in that fight, but I think it's hard for him now because he's had those 3 bad knockout losses, and he didn't do himself any favors in the build-up. How reliable is he going to be to actually sell a fight?
Yeah. All right, Ken. If Usyk and Fury don't happen next, right? Where does that leave the heavyweight division?
It all depends where Wilder goes. I've already said this in the channel. I think he's there as backup. I think he's going to be there as backup. I think listen. You look at the WBC. They get a percentage of the purse bid. Look at the purse bid they got against Dillian Whyte Fury. Fury's good for them because he brings in a big purse. So I think it's kind of down to as well whatever Tyson wants. I've said this before. I don't think Frank actually calls the shots there with Tyson. I think Tyson calls the shots. And I think whoever Tyson wants to fight, he will fight and win and where.
Yeah. Yeah. All right then. We'll finish off on Lewis Ritson against O'Hara Davis. What did you think to it?
Just think it's really disappointing. You have misfit boxing on platforms, and you have a really good fight against 2 really, really good fighters in Lewis Ritson and O'Hara Davis, and it wasn't to be seen anywhere on television. No network bought it. I think it was on some app. But a fight like that, a good domestic fight like that, where possibly somebody's going to go on the European or world level fight after it, not to be shown on TV it just shows you where boxing is at the minute. These misfit fights are being shown on platforms, and really good domestic fights aren't. That doesn't look good for fighters.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Where do you see Lewis Ritson going now?
Oh, it's he had that. He's had a tough couple of years. He had that defeat to Ponce, who fought for a world title last week. Really good fighter. He lost to him. He had that controversial decision on a show a couple of years back that he shouldn't have got. It wasn't his fault that he got it, but it's going to be hard for him now to get himself into world title contention and title contention. He's gonna maybe have to go on the road, maybe get fights at championship level is maybe the away corner, but it's just disappointing. A fight that good, that well matched fighters wasn't actually on terrestrial TV. It says a lot for where boxing is at the minute, Russell.
What about O'Hara though? He's in mix now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a really good. He's come back well. He's had some good wins. He won. He's had some really good wins. He did lose that fight to Jack Catterall a couple of years back. That was actually a really good fight. He had that loss to Josh Taylor. He's used to losing big fights and coming back and getting on a run and just getting his head down and getting an opportunity. And he had that good fight against Tyrone McKenna, and he won that. And he was supposedly, meant to get a world title fight, after that. It didn't materialize.
You won't back
Now
against O'Hara Davis winning a world title now, though, would you?
it's all, last night's fight wasn't on TV. He's going to need to go somewhere where he's going to be on
He's going to be a away
terrestrial.
fighter. He's going to have to do a. He's going to have to do a Lloyd Honeyghan, isn't he, to get a world title?
He is, and I think he knows that. But as you say, you can't, you couldn't write him off. He's been wrote off before. They took that Josh Taylor fight
Hey,
early
that's a
on.
closer fight now than it were a bit back in it.
Listen, I don't think it's going to happen. I think his career is. I think his career's been mapped out for the next 18 months. But it's a great win for him. Last night was just a fantastic win for him. Who do you see him beating to win a world title, Russell?
Well, they're all hard, aren't they? At that weight. I'd like
You
to
could
see
possibly
Castro rematch.
listen. That would be a good fight. That would be a really good fight. I don't know. I think Carroll's just going to wait out for Josh Taylor.
He's been
I
waiting a
think
year already.
he has, but who else out there, Russell, is going to drum up that amount of money he's going to get in the rematch to Josh Taylor? He's not our interest. It's not really going to cross over. He's not exactly the biggest personality in boxing, Jack Catterall, and I think he has to wait around. I think he's going to need to keep more active, but I think as a big fight, I think that's the only big option for him. I think O'Hara Davis at the minute, he's won. He's won nine fights from that, so I think he would be too much of a risk.
What about Jack Catterall and Lewis Ritson on Sky? Why not? I'm sure Phil Jeffries will take that fight.
Last night was only Lewis Ritson's third loss in his career,
It's
so
not
it's
ended well for Lewis Ritson. He's a good lad, Lewis Ritson, and Phil Jeffries has done well for him. I'd like to see him come back. He'd take that fight in an heartbeat, Catterall fight, Lewis.
Lewis has only really lost at the really really good fighters. He had that Ponce defeat, O'Hara Davies, and Pantera. The European title. So he's only fought any losses he's had. They have only been at 12-round championship level. So he's a championship level fighter. He had a good win last time against Dejan Saladin, who was a world champion at one stage in a Phil Jeffries show. So listen, you're right. It's not the end of the world, but I think O'Hara and Lewis Ritson are just going to have to maybe do it as the away fighter, and it's a bit harder to do it. But I wouldn't write off O'Hara Davies, like possibly even a Robbie Davis Jr. rematch. They could have even a fight between that. I don't actually think they have fought before. They haven't, but you could have a fight between Robbie Davis and O'Hara Davies. That would be a big fight, but I can't see O'Hara being in a matchroom show again, to be
Why
honest.
would O'Hara want to drop down and fight Robbie Davis Jr.? O'Hara's in a good position. He don't want to be taking fights like that. He needs to be looking to get in America now, O'Hara, doesn't he? He's going to have to go to get the pot of gold, isn't he?
I'm just kind of thinking out loud. We had that. I thought he was really lucky against Vasquez. Vasquez was the fighter that was robbed against.
Admitted he were, didn't he?
Yeah, and at least he came out and he had the guts to say that. You have to admire him for that.
First person I've seen do that. Is it? No, Eubank Senior admitted he lost rematch against Ben, didn't he? He admitted he got lucky with draw, didn't he? So I'll give him credit. Eubank Senior.
Possibly remember the Card Thompson rematch? Remember that there? He got the bad eye. But you look at that division, like you've got
Thompson put hands on him, mate. He touched him up. Carl Thompson.
I thought Thompson. I thought brilliant fighter, one of my favorite fighters of all time. I've seen him on a Dennis show. Sebastian Rothman. Check that knockout out. It's fantastic. But But come back to O'Hara, Regis Prograis, Tiafoe Lopez, Salvatore Martin. That'd be a hard fight to sell. He's a tough style. Ryan Garcia, Zapina. There is good fights out there. But come back to Carl Thompson. Yeah, Carl Thompson, I don't think he gets the credit he deserved. He went away in Germany and won the world title against one of the Johnny brothers, Rocket Johnny brothers. That's a fight that nobody talks about. It's one of those, unheard of moments in boxing in the 90s. A British fighter going over to Germany and getting the decision. He did. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant career he had, Carl Thompson. Just one of those great fighters that doesn't really get the credit he deserves. Like, his career doesn't get the credit. His resume doesn't get the credit.
Yeah, it don't. It doesn't.
It was
Yeah.
Johnny Nelson. Johnny Nelson didn't exactly want to fight him again in the rematch.
Johnny Nelson got lucky against him, but Johnny did well. He manoeuvred his career, he had all them defences, and he got financially secure. So I respect that. You got to give Johnny Nelson respect. He meant most of a style that weren't very entertaining, were it?
Yeah, he reinvented himself. He had a great career.
As what? As what?
Well, he reinvented, not so much as he got back on TV again, which
no, yeah. I thought you meant he reinvented his style. No, he didn't. He ran backwards all his career. Do you know what I mean?
I think from the Leon fight, the Lone fight, Carlos the Lone fight, from that fight to getting back on terrestrial television and winning a world title, you're right. He did so well. He did so well. Not many fighters now could actually emulate that.
No, what Johnny did, no, we're amazing on it. He had
No.
that big long run, so we've got to give him credit. So Johnny, you've got a bit of credit there from the
And he
Paul.
stepped up and down from heavyweight. He wasn't exactly fighting killers at heavyweight, but he stepped up. He won a WBU title at heavyweight and a WBF. It's not exactly.
Did he defend it in Australia?
He did. He actually, was it Jimmy Thunder? Remember the fighter from Australia, Jimmy Thunder? I think he boxed him.
Jimmy Thunder thighs, wasn't it?
He beat him. Yeah, he boxed him. I think it was for WBF. I don't think he defended his WBU.
WBF? Belt. What will it be next? KFC? KFG, Jesus, JLC or something, General Electric Company, bronze.
Sure, is Dennis not mates with the WBF?
No, he ain't. But Dennis is well in with IBO. Max is already in top 40. He's not fought on a Dennis show yet.
Flipping heck. And do you know what? I said to you weeks back, I think Dennis should get Lovejoy, heavyweight Lovejoy, over the fight Dave Allen. I think that, Dennis, if you're watching, get Lovejoy over. That would be a really entertaining fight against Dave Allen. That would be
Dennis, your weapon. Don't listen to Kent, because you'll just say, yeah, we'll sort it, and he won't. Dennis is just chats nonsense.
What will he say? Will it be like, yeah, I've got something bubbling there? So
I've got something bubbling. Leave it with me. You'll just watch us in next few months.
Oh, flip me. That's gold. So if he's listening, that's where he should take the White Rhino. I think the build up, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would, and we're out of time, Kent. But we wish Dennis well with his deal with BBC. So good luck to him, and good luck to you, Kent, and whatever you're doing in your life. And I'm now off to pour myself a very, very large one. I'm going to smoke another bifter. I'm going to search for the Roy Keane interview.
It's only been 10 minutes since you mentioned that, Russell.
I know. You take care, Kent. Booyaka! Peace out.
Porky's Corner is proud to be sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.